Memories. Memories.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this. We're so lost deep in it. Can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this. in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. 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 I'm so caught in this, but so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. The players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from Peyton. It's just gonna solidify everything from Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill Thor anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
SKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an athlete immediately comes back and finds skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
Do something.
Hello and welcome to now the NA playoffs for the CGL GOATs tournament in 2026. My name is K-Wing and I'm here with Rain as we hop on, and we were just getting excited for the glory days of GOATs 2018. It was coming up on 8 years ago.
Wow.
There are children who are conscious who weren't even born. Truly the biggest tragedy of our time that there were children born today that weren't around for GOATs, but we can give them that experience here today as we've got a lot going here. We're in the playoffs now, and these teams have fought through the that round robin stage, and now we've got 8 left in a two-tier tournament in that lower and upper bracket.
Yeah, so there were 20 teams that were signed up for this NA division of the GOATs tournament, showing, just how much passion I think a lot of people still have for those, like you said, K-Way, those glory days back in 2018, really dominating the scene and, forcing us into this 2-2-2 lock. So it's undeniable that GOATs was a real big game changer for Overwatch. So this is the top 8. They fought through that round robin, 20 teams in total. So this is the best of the best here. All of these teams have either not lost a match or they've lost one match. So a lot of competition here in this upper bracket of the NA playoffs.
Yeah, and some names that you definitely have heard of before. You've got Shikigami, Boop Troop in there, and then also a couple of teams made up of just a bunch of different players from all over the place. We've got Goat Milk, we've got Hamang as well, with players like coming out of like University of Washington, Ravanti X NTMR, and then out of that Goat Milk team, you have people from like Young and Beautiful, from Hive Mind, Amplify, all over that sort of tier 2 Overwatch, and just people getting together because this isn't your giant CGL season. It's just here for a little bit of fun as we go through this tournament. Goat Milk and Hemming, of course, like you said, like we were talking about, the first of a bunch. We're going to be following through a couple of games today, and then I think we have another game. We have another stream going on tomorrow.
Yeah. So we're in this playoffs here in NA. Hopefully, you all had a chance to maybe catch some of the EU action that was happening earlier in the day. And yeah, this is a weekend tournament. So round robin was completed on Friday. So now we're here in the playoffs, and we'll have a few matches for you today, and then the conclusion happening tomorrow. So it's nice to be able to just pack all of this fun into like one weekend. You just dedicate a little bit of time here to watch some of these teams duke it out. As we take a little look at the map pool here. So the way that this is going to work is that Lijiang Tower is going to be your set map for all of the round 1 matches, which is of course going to include this first one here of Goat Milk versus Hamam.
Yeah, and then as you see going forward, we have Hybrid, Assault, and then Assault again, which I'm a little worried about that personally, going into a second Assault game. If we end up tying on GOATs, heaven forbid. Assault can be pretty prone to drawing. I'm not sure how many people really remember those days, but Temple of Draw Anubis, Draw Skya, very common nicknames. Draw Namura, common names for those maps. If you get into taking that first point and then can't crack the walnut that is that second point, you end up very quickly having a draw situation. But we can worry about that later, because Lijiang Tower, I don't think I could have picked a better first map to get into the spirit of GOATs, to get into that high-flying, quick rushing style. And we've got our lineups here. You've got Eevee, Ronin, Leo, Icy Sniper, Neptune, and Solo Zen on the side of Goat Milk. And then you've got Shimshigi, Fearless, Sunnyside, Karin, Juzuzo, and JVJ on the side of Hamon.
And important to note here that this is a GOATs tournament, so of course GOATs has some pretty important distinctions here. That 3 support and the 3 tanks, of course, but it's also crucial and actually required in this competition that you do have some heroes locked in. So Diva, Zarya, Brig, and Lucio are must picks for every team that is participating in this tournament. In the main tank, you do get get a little bit of flexibility, you can play the Winston if you don't want to play the Reinhardt. And then over on that Zenyatta, you do also have the option to swap over to the Ana or the Moira. But with 4 heroes that are locked in, don't expect that we're going to see a whole lot of kind of variety here because, you know, goats is goats is goats.
Goats is goats is goats, and honestly, you are probably going to see the variation we have on the screen. That Winston composition swap is really only going to be for very, very specific maps. Like, you might see it on like a Hollywood. If we get into that for our hybrid map, you might see it there. In terms of the Moira and the Ana, you could, but the potential like damage and healing output that Moira brings is just completely nullified, and even with the Ana, is just completely nullified by that Discord orb. It really allows that last little layer that allows this GOATS composition to move as one gigantic ball of damage and steam plow the enemy.
Yeah, and where you mentioned earlier when we were taking a look at Lijiang Tower and where Lijiang is going to be the first map that we get started on for the round 1, definitely am expecting that we're going to be seeing this Reinhardt and Zenyatta variety because, yeah, you don't really have a whole lot of high ground to work with to move over onto that Winston that floats composition. So this is really kind of quintessential GOATs that we're going to be able to get started with as we head into map 1, which is really fun to watch because this is, of course, going to set the tone for how these teams are going to go on to the next couple of maps. This is a first to 2, so not a whole lot of room here to kind of lose this first map. You definitely want to get started out with a win.
That you do. And I think as we're getting people back into that spirit of GOATs, back into 8 years ago, hard to even believe that anyway, but as we're getting people back into the 8 years ago, what are the fundamentals that these teams need to look for, that they need to lock in? What is the most important thing that they need to have in order to be successful over the other teams? Because they're going to be running into each other. What's going to separate the team that runs in and runs the other team over and the team that gets run over?
Yeah, it's all about cycling when it comes to GOATs. You need to be able to constantly have one of these cooldowns available, whether it's going to be the bubble from your Zarya, going to be the amp speed from your Lucio, the Brigitte. You're going to have really a nice cycle going because as soon as you kind of fall out of line, that's when the other team is going to be able to step in and kind of capitalize on that. As we predicted, it is going to be this Zenyatta Reinhardt composition coming out for both of these teams.
It's Goat Milk, the first to take presence on the point as Fearless and the members of Hamong look towards pushing on. You have a really nice long sightline for Solo Zen on the side of Goat Milk. As Brig bashes forward, you have that stun bash as well of OG Brig as the D-Mech's going to come through the first time, Eevee and Icy Sniper, but Sunnyside gets down. So you have some trades coming through. That Diva mech so important to have as Hamong rush through, taking those losses in stride. They get the win.
Yeah, that's a really nice job from them. They even get the D-Mech onto Ronin on that Diva, which really can make all the difference in these GOATs compositions. This was kind of the OG Baby Diva getting staggered out. Is going to swap over. Not going to be out of that mech for too long, but now Hamon gets to push up. I think because they didn't leave the spawn door. If you leave spawn, it's not legal.
Oh, the Lucio boops the entirety of Goat Milk off the high ground. Jushizo actually made a really heads-up play there. Very aggressive. Now we have some ults on the board as the D-Mech comes in onto Sunnyside. Somehow the Lucio booped the other Lucio off the map as we've got the raid boss incoming. The OG Brig rally pushing through from Icy Sniper. But it is going to help Karen get that first pick. And Fearless starting to push through as well as Hamon is starting to look good here, passing 50% and pushing forward. That's another win as they round the corner to chase down some stragglers.
Yeah, all right, nice little hold there. This is all about kind of where you want to take these fights, right? We're seeing these fights happen in these enclosed rooms. That's where the Reinhardt is going to be able to get the most damage in here. But the engagement through, you need to find an opening if you're Goat Milk, and you got some ults to work with here. It's going to be hard to find the shatter, but if you can manage it, it's pretty big.
The brig down early, Icy Sniper, and there goes the self-destruct. Sunnyside gonna land 2 in the DMEC, and that'll just be a quick shutdown as Hamong will get the team kill to ring out, and maybe one more fight for Goat Milk here. They've got to find a way to use these tank ults.
Oh, yeah, right. And we were talking about kind of before we came online how excited we were to see these big diva bombs. Well, it's going to be the big grab to start out here from Leo. Maybe Goat Milk can make something of this now.
Fearless goes down. That's the only pick they've got. They will get overtime through as the Shatter pushes in. None stunned through. Both Rhines pin into each other. Neptune finds the pick on the opposing Lucio, and Goat Milk having their big shot here. What they need, dumping everything in. They keep the Shatter online just in case they need it. We'll get the Diva DMAC, but they need to just take care of the Diva. No staggers there as Goat Milk buy themselves a stay of execution.
Ooh, okay, 99% on the board here is really big for Hamong, but crucially, they don't have any ults built up just yet, so you are going to have to try and build up to some of these ults before you're going to be able to take this next fight. But Goat Milk do have that Shatter ready to go, that rally, the raid boss of Icy Sniper as well. You can see that Hamong is just trying to stay on this high ground as long as they can, try to force out some of these cooldowns from Goat Milk before they engage.
And also try and charge up some of these ultimates as well. Get that Diva ult a little closer. But there goes the Shatter to the ground, dropping 3. And that's going to be in and out for Goat Milk. A solid fight win to get themselves 2 in a row now. Starting to stack up.
Ooh, a very flashy Earth Shatter. I love to be able to see that in this Ghost composition. Everybody is so grouped up because that's just the nature of the comp. So gotta be real careful against those big CC ultimates.
That you have to. Now, though, Goat Milk, no ults on the board. Leo will be up to this grab in just a moment, but you have that grab bomb combo and some support ults on the side of Hamong as they look towards the rush onto the point. Leo will have that ult, might just be needed to get some time for solo Zen. Crucial to have that on the point as there goes both big ults out of the Zaryas. Doubling up on the support ult for Hamong, but they get the picks coming through. 2 in, Shattered down, and it'll get a little bit more as Hamong starts the overtime wick burning, taking down solos in the corner there. Now rushing towards this Zarya. A great pin onto the Reinhardt from across the way. Really great stuff, but Fearless actually goes down. Schmingy is in trouble, but there's just not enough people there on the point. A little bit of a comeback there at the end, but Goat Milk is going to drop round 1, and it's Hamong taking it first.
It was close. Goat Milk almost got that kind of overtime to continue there. Evie not quite able to get her foot on the point in time. And that kind of last fight, it really came down. Ronan had the Diva Bomb ready to go. And oftentimes when we're seeing those really big Diva Bombs come through, it's because you're pairing that with the pin from the Reinhardt. Evie, a lot of pressure to try and hit that pin onto Shumsigi to find value with that Diva Bomb. But Fearless instantly recognizing that, locking Goat Milk up with that Graviton Surge so that everybody could just kite out of it. As we head over to Garden here, no changes in the Reinhardt or the Zen, so we're gonna once again see these teams just kind of duel it out towards this point.
Both Lucios did the funny rollout, but immediately ran into each other, and Neptune's gonna jump in a little bit. I think Fearless actually fell off the map. That might have been Neptune's doing. If it was, it's a very good pick, as Icy Sniper is going to land 2 picks on this Brig. Just emphasizing how much of a powerhouse this Brig was back in the day.
Yeah, right. This is what caused Goats. The original Brigitte was kind of what was the linchpin in this composition. So strong. Icy Sniper already has this rally ready to go, so Hamong gonna have to be real careful as they've opted to push through this white room for their next engagement.
Yeah, that's going to be really big. You can get a lot of good cleave damage with the Fire Strike, as Karen and Neptune both going to go down. There goes the rally from Icy Sniper, responded to by a Transcendence from JBJ. Now pushing through, has a nice long sight line to work with. Ronan trying to put the hurt onto Sunnyside. Sunnyside in a lot of trouble as Icy Sniper going to get booted off the map as Sunnyside getting demeched. Evie throwing in the Shatter onto the bomb, and Shumshigi just can't do enough. The Shatter actually knocks Sunnyside off of the map. Good stuff there from Evie.
Yeah, I love that, right? So I was mentioning, you know, you want to go for the pin charge, but a Shatter is going to do the job just as well to combo with that bomb. And now Leo has this Graviton Surge ready to go, but the Grav and the Shatter online for Hamong here. They're going to once again look to path towards this White Room. Haven't been able to find the value, but now they have some really big ultimates to try and push their way through this.
Absolutely having a lot of big ultimates, and there's one of them with the Grav getting thrown out by Leo. Both grabs in there as a Transcendence response from Goat Milk, beat response from Hamong. Ronin going to be the first to fall, getting demacked and burst down, and a really big loss there. Losing that D.Va, losing that defense matrix as the D.Va bomb goes off for Hamong. Beat and Transcendence both going back and forth, but usually the Transcendence is the one to win that. Shumshigi lands a triple kill pin off the map, and this is not your modern Rhine pin where you have a get out of jail free cancel button. That was planned.
That's so true, right? You gotta commit with this Rhine charge. Once you're in, you're in. Now, Hamong getting some percentage on the point here. 80% though, very good for Goat Milk. Really just need to win this one more fight, opting to rotate through this White Room, and they do have the Shatter. They have the rally to work with. Hamong though does have the positioning.
Icy Sniper going to be the first to go down, falling victim to that positioning. Great pin into the back line, but Juicy though gets a big, massive boop in the end to seal the deal for the team kill. Hamong holding on.
Ooh, okay, yeah, team kill coming through here for Hamong. Now, you don't have any ultimates on the board just yet. Sunnyside is going to be able to build up to this bomb fairly quickly, but Eevee has this Earth Shatter ready to go. The Transcendence difference as well, really big, but you lose solo Zen here. Excellent pick from
That's
Hamong.
huge. That's absolutely huge there. That gives you just a little bit more time to passively build up to that D.Va ult and give you just a little bit more staying power, as the Shatter's going to actually come in early. No one on the ground though, as Eevee going to drop that Shatter to nothing. Now it's Hamong with the big ults there, has the beat, has the self-destruct. It's now Goat Milk trying to take a bit of a more dry fight, although they have their ults of their own as well. Far from it, as there goes the self-destruct into the back line. It's going to be Eevee, though, completely caught out by that zoning that the bomb provided. Transcendence in. Shatter's going to land onto 2 right as Solo Zen comes out of the ult. D.Va bomb over top. Going to go off just a bit harmlessly as Ronin goes down, and Hamong will grab it, and they will take the victory off of it. Great play.
Yeah, a little bit of back and forth there, right? You know, not super clean from Hamong. We had some fight here from the side of Goat Milk, but finding this win here on Lijiang, putting yourself at a match point here in round 1 feels really, really good for Hamong. I think that really great job kind of comboing their cooldowns together, whether it was going to be the bomb plus the pin. Excellent response grabs as well. That's the thing with Goats, is that you don't always have to kind of go first in all of these fights. Now I feel like modern Overwatch, there's a lot of pressure to kind of go for that first engagement because it's a lot harder to respond and survive through it. But with Goats, you have all the sustain in the world, so if you want to let your opponent go for a cooldown first, you can do that as long as you have something to respond with, and Hamong definitely felt like they were really on point with the responses.
They absolutely did, and they were able to hang with just how quick Goats is as a composition. I mean, it is so much faster than the Overwatch that we are used to today. It is so much quicker. There's so much more snap decisions that happen. Not to say that it's more or less difficult, but there's so much more that is happening so quickly in that moment. So to see Hamong play it was really impressive. Also, just talking about, I think what's most interesting is the play of these Lucios and how the strategy around a lot of this has changed from original Overwatch, your 6v6, your Goats, that original time. Because I remember the big clips of the day, the big clips of the age, and I'm gonna sound as old as I ever will here, but the clips of the day, I remember Vancouver Titans and New York Excelsior, those big Goats teams. Grav Bomb was the name of the game. Big ult combos, Graviton Surge, and Diva Bomb. And putting those together, putting it behind them, and the Rhine can't turn the shield. Because everyone's behind the Rhine shield. And seeing that, and now looking at what that's become in terms of doing more of a shatter bomb and doing more of aggressive Lucio play rather than like really kind of deathballing it and sticking together, moving in as a little bit more spread out. And yes, thank you, Goat Milk. Thank you. I was so worried that we were going to have some like contrarian people who were like, it's a GOATs tournament. Let's play Hollywood, which is like, I'm at a world famous pizza restaurant. Can I get a hamburger? No, you are playing GOATs. You're going to go to King's gosh darn row. I swear, if you go to Hollywood in a GOATs tournament, I want to have a chat with you. Because why? Why are you going Hollywood in a GOATs tournament? You want to play Winston?
Nonsense.
Cringe.
That's nonsense. Looking
I
at the
don't
other
care.
maps, right? I mean, the maps that are available for hybrid, Kings Row really, if you're gonna play the Reinhardt, the OG GOATs, you're gonna go to Kings Row because the other options are Hollywood, Nimbani, or Blizzard World, which pretty much would more or less kind of force you into a little bit more of that kind of dive, the floats kind of idea with the Winston. So I'm here for the Kings Row as well. Love to see more Reinhardt.
Yeah, I love the Kings Row as well. Kings Row is also just a mainstay of that GOATs compositions where some of the more iconic clips of the GOATs era took place. Even clips that weren't around GOATs that happened during that GOATs era happened in Kings Row. The Great Bamboozle, I'm gonna call this the merry-go-round, that call happened in... Now, Hamon, I see what you're pulling, and I know and I know it's bait. I'm not gonna take it, but just know, if it's not bait, I'm gonna be disappointed. But anyway, as I was saying, a lot of those big plays happened at Kings Row, happened in these streets. Thank you, Hamon. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be here, is what I'm saying.
I love the shout out to the Great Bamboozle because people still do that. Even though we're not in the GOATs era, people will still roll out on a composition and then you're going to have, your DPS go back to the spawn and swap over to Widow. Real cheeky. So it's like, this is an iconic part of Overwatch history, honestly, it's the Reinhardt duel we were looking for, and we're going to have to see the pathing here as Hamon on the attack. Going to be a little bit of a more of a tricky position to try and take some of the space away from Goat Milk.
Sunnyside in actually a little bit of trouble there in terms of the health. Karen gonna get taken down early first off, and that's the thing with GOATs. Once you lose one, you'll lose them all, so you just have to get out of there. JBJ gets caught away from their team, taken down in an instant, and Sunnyside might actually get staggered out here a little. Great stuff.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about Kings Row too. There's nowhere on this first point or even really the second point to kind of go for that environmental reset if you're the baby diva. So you really are hoping that you're just gonna get taken out. Ooh.
JBJ getting caught out again is not good for that team. Fearless getting taken down, and it's starting to look like a spawn hold out of Goat Milk.
It's such a hard choke point to try and push through this first one. I mean, in the best of times, or, in the modern times, it's still hard to get through this, but now there's 3 tanks, giant health pools that are holding this choke point. Yeah, Hamon definitely gonna have to build up some ults to try and break through this.
And there goes the grab and just immediate shutdown. And that's one ult. They didn't even use the Diva Bomb on that. Goat Milk has now 5 ultimates. Oh my gosh, this is not good for Hamon.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a big swap up here. I feel like Hamon really running into a wall now, whereas on Lijiang Tower we were seeing a little bit more kind of back and forth, but Goat Milk have really found the rhythm here on Kings Row. You can just see from the ults alone that they're really playing very kind of conservatively here, trying to just use one at a time.
Icy Sniper dropping the rally. There goes the beat. Shattering lands onto 5, and it's lights out for Hamon. 2 minutes left on the clock, and look at this Diva stagger. Almost tried to pin her away. That would have been brutal, because you can get a long pin, get 10 more seconds on that Diva stagger.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're at just over a minute and a half here. Hamong have not even been able to get, I don't think, even a toe on the point so far. Now, you got lots of ults here to work with, and Goatmilk did use a lot in that last fight. So Hamong, we can see, taking the space, looking to use some of these ultimates, and finally get some presence on this point.
Yeah, they do get some presence on the point, but Shigi just goes too aggressive. Ronan going to land a double kill with the bomb for Hamong. Just... Oh, no, for Goatmilk, pardon me. I was confused by colors. And it's just turned right back on its head. Sunnyside going to get taken down, and it's back to the spawn door for Hamong.
Wow, it was a great bash from Icy Sniper. Like we said, this is OG Brigida. The stun is gonna come through. So the Brig stun over onto Shigi on that Reinhardt means that as soon as the bomb comes through, you are basically just sitting out in the open waiting to get blown up.
Leo down is big. You lose Zarya and you lose that charge. That is the biggest pick you can see. The Lucio going in, shatter off. A lot of ults going sideways. It's 2 on the ground off the shatter of Eevee. Hamong as close as they can get. Both bombs up in this tiny stairway. One's gonna find Karen. Ronan looking for a miracle for Goatmilk. Both beats out. Leo throws in the grab. And it'll be Goatmilk landing those last kills, shutting it down. And uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, because now you're looking at an overtime push. Fearless going to get taken down on the side of Hamong. Eevee in trouble. Sunnyside trying to chase down Neptune on this Lucio, but just too evasive, jumping back into the fight. Shigi in trouble, just thrown into a corner. Leo putting out the damage, getting the kills. High charge, high DPS, high success. That is 0% for Hamong, but here's the trouble, okay? Goats is a very defensively minded comp. Very, very defensively minded. So it is not beyond the realm of possibilities that Goatmilk does the same thing. And my friends, if they do, we have the possibility of not just 1, but potentially 2 assault maps. This is round 1 of the playoffs. There's a very real chance here, that Goatmilk just completely pushes in and, you know, this takes like 30 seconds. However, Goats is a very defensively minded comp. It has a lot of support, a lot of healing per second that can be pushed through. That was the entire basis of the comp. So now, I don't know. We'll just have to see. And it's going to be up to Hamong. It's going to be up to them to start stacking team fights and get into the ult cycles faster, because that is exactly what happened with Goatmilk. They got those early ults. They got like that Brig rally first, and then they used the Brig rally to win that, to get the advantage to win the first fight. And then off of that, they got like Diva Bomb or the Grav, and use the Grav to fuel everything next. As Eevee might be rolling out of here. No, on the Reinhardt. Okay.
Classic. Yeah, we're back over onto the Reinhardt here, but I like your point, K-Wing, right? If Hamong can kind of win this first fight, that's going to allow them to kind of build up those ults and cycle through things. Now, the difference that Goatmilk had on their defense is that even when they kind of were down in their ult, they were still going first in these fights, which is so important as well. It's the timing, the cycling of Goats that is really going to allow you to kind of find the value here. So a lot of pressure on Hamong because you do not have a whole lot of percentage to work with here.
Sunnyside already demacted, and that's a big source of damage mitigation gone from the side of Hamong unless they can get that remech quickly, but Karen will not live to see it. Shigi bashed and burst down. That is textbook Goats for how you deal with the Reinhardt. Bash him, burst him. And already super close, you have the Transcendence here on Solo's end. Rally coming out from Icy Sniper, who was able to stay alive, and it is one pick after another pick after another pick. Goatmilk takes that fight 1-1, and we are going to an assault map. I have not casted an assault map in so long. I am so excited for that.
I don't think I've casted an assault map since last year's Goats tournament from CGL. So yeah,
Yeah,
this
me
is
either.
gonna right, like this is gonna be a fun one. I have to say, I think that this is good for Goat Milk because their kind of style of goats that they've been playing, very much kind of like front attack, right? We're seeing they had so much success on King's Row because there's not really a whole lot of angles to work with. Lijiang Tower, you do have a lot more of these kind of sidelines that you can end up taking fights kind of in really weird situations, and it's easier to end up getting split as a team, which is what you really don't want to happen if you're playing Goats. So as we head into an assault map, that classic 2CP, I'm expecting a whole lot more of this real deathball style from Goat Milk that gave them so much success on King's Row.
I'm expecting that too. And I think with Goat Milk, they showed that they have some really good chops in terms of when you talk about defense. And that was what really changed it. And that's what's going to be incredibly helpful for your assault map, is going to be being good at defense. Is just generally, are you able to hold a point and hold a choke point effectively? And we saw incredibly good defense from Goat Milk, where we didn't really see as great of offense when we talked about that, the flow of, when we talk about the flow of King of the Hill, which is not the same as Hybrid or even Assault. Those two are very different tempo. And so that change is definitely a big alarm flag for Hamon, because Hanamura is going to be much more similar to King's Row than it is to Lijiang.
Yeah, you're not gonna get necessarily as much of that kind of push and pull that we see on those control maps. So moving over to Hanamura, this is of course gonna be the map pick of Hamong. You know, you had three options here if you were Hamong for your assault maps. We could have gone to either Temple of Anubis or Volskaya Industries instead of Hanamura, but I'm excited to get back into Hanamura. Really beautiful map, and also very kind of classic, one of these classic draw maps. Yes, all the 2CP maps were really big on draws, but I think Hanamura's second point, oh my goodness, it's just so easy to get out of that spawn and get straight onto that point.
It really is. And also, not just with that close spawn, it's so easy to hold. Because either you are pushing through, like, you're pushing through something that even in real life is like that 6-foot long hallway, or you're getting jumped on from above, either by going to the left or to the right. You are in such danger, no matter what route you go, that it's truly difficult to break through point B of Hanamura. And that's why all of those assault maps have a very difficult point B. It's just, it's the nature of the beast, and it's why it was so infuriating to play, and it's kind of why that map got taken behind the woodshed when we went to Overwatch 2. But Hanamura, like you said, combines both that with a very quick spawn walk back, even for assault maps. This is going to be a matter of who can decisively win fights, because we've seen that struggle, at least from Hamon, in the map they won thus far. We talked about it, a lot of those fights weren't as clean. And they're going to have to start stacking them up one after another after another. And you want to know who we've seen stack up fights one after another after another after another? It's going to be Goat Milk on King's Row.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So already you got this kind of momentum going here for the side of Goat Milk. Now, I'm trying to think here, okay, Hamong, how are you going to kind of approach this? What needs to change a little bit so that you can try and win these fights a little bit more decisively? And I think a really key component of kind of finding the eliminations through a Goat composition is really making use of that Discord orb. So I'm really hoping to see a lot more kind of focus onto these Discords scores that come through from JBJ. Pretty much every kill that appears in the kill feed should have that Zenyatta in the little corner, making sure that, you know, showing up as an assist here, because Goat Milk, they are following through on these discords from Solo Zen, and they're finding eliminations very quickly.
Yeah, so that's what you're going to watch. You really want to watch for. You want to watch for that Zen picture up in that top right with those eliminations, as Ronin gonna actually be raining down a lot of damage early on over top, as Sumshigi gonna be the first to fall for Hamon, as now that first attack. Ooh, Hamon's Diva goes down, gets demeched. Neptune gets taken down, but with no Diva, you really can't push through as they wait for that regroup.
Ooh, okay, and we actually do get the remake here from Sunnyside as well, so this is massive, but you're not able to hold that choke point anymore. Hamon has kind of broken through the defense, has made their way onto this point.
Sumshigi gets knocked off. It's a trade for Leo, but that was a huge change pushing through. Beat comes out from Juzo. Shatter in will land onto 2, but with the Transcendence, it's going to not result in any kills. Raid boss in from Karen on the side of Hamon. Ronin trying to put the damage onto JBJ, but JBJ able to get bailed out. Ooh, that self-destruct was aggressive, and it'll land 2. Sumshigi, though, is going to get that final pick, and that'll be point A going to Hamon. It'll take them a minute and a half, but a solid time bank for a very difficult push.
Yeah, right? And you can definitely see way more time burned off the clock here on the defense on that first point. But, all right, 5 minutes to work with here at Hamon. You're going to be happy to have all of the seconds that they possibly could as we head into this elusive second point of Hanamura that we were talking about. It can be so hard to break through. You can see that they're trying to take this high ground away from Goat Milk.
Yeah, they're actually going to try and jump on the point and force that fight on the point. Neptune going to be the first to fall for Goat Milk. No Lucio knocks out the legs from this team. Sumshigi Shatter goes right into the shield. Evie now trying to put in the damage, building up to a Shatter of her own, looking to break through this Ryan shield. Seeing the crack, Sumshigi goes down. Evie's got a free Shatter if she should want it, but she's gonna keep a hold on it in spawn, actually, as a tick's going to go through. Absolutely massive there, 34.5%, but getting a tick on the point is huge here for Hamon.
Yeah, I'm loving that for Hamon, and I think that we are really definitely seeing kind of these supports kind of step up for Hamon. I'm especially really looking pleased with how the cycling of the support ultimates has gone through. JBJ and Juzu doing a good job kind of negotiating who's going to use the Transcendence for this ult, who's going to use the beat for this ult, but now coming in, Goat Milk, all 3 of those tank ultimates here. This Graviton Surge from Leo, you're going to have to see a big ult come through in response from Hamon, whether that's the beat or the Transcendence, it's up to them to decide.
There goes the Grav, trapping that Reinhardt on the other side, just pumping in the damage, and Sumshigi cannot stay alive through it. And that's a big amount of support ults out of Hamon. That's going to mess up their ult economy for a little bit. One Grav just bought out both support ults, as Solo Zen's going to take out Juzuo. Hamon now in trouble. That's a big mistake.
Yeah, you hate to see it, and this is because we talked about it earlier, right? Goats is all about cycling. You need to be able to kind of keep one of these ults in the back pocket for when you really need it. So now that has basically just meant that you need one more fight here for Hamon, because okay, you're gonna take this fight, but it's really, really hard to win those fights without other Transcendence or beat. So you're looking at just taking this fight, trying maybe not to use any of your ultimates, and you're looking at kind of the fight after so that you can have yourself back into that cycle.
Yeah, the only thing you could really do is try and get that Grav Bomb combo, as there goes the bomb and you get the pin onto Sumshigi. That's just gonna be it. And that's really not what you want. A very quick fight, and now Sunnyside is gonna go off the map. Ugh.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes, halfway through that 5-minute time bank that Hamon kind of rolled into second point with here. Now, good news is they did at least get an ultimate out of Goat Milk. That Diva Bomb was committed, but that's the only thing that was committed. So now Hamon looking to have this Grav of their own. You have the bomb as well. We were kind of mentioning, you know, nice little combo there, but the topography of Hanamura made it really hard. Oh, okay. a start.
Early pick onto Neptune is massive because that's one of those support ultimates that's now not there. Soul is then going to use the Transcendence, and now JBJ popping in with one of their own. But that's the thing. Sometimes the second Transcendence is not the better Transcendence. Beat goes through for Goat Milk, and that's what we were talking about. In Overwatch 2, you drop a Transcendence second, you're doing great. In Goats, even a second later is just an eternity for kills to come through.
Yeah, it really, really is. There's so much HP on the fields that, you know, that Transcendence can make all the difference. The timing's so important here. Now, crucially, we did at least see Goat Milk, you know, use both of those kind of support ultimates there on the on their fight. So coming into this next fight, Hamong is gonna have at least that beat advantage to work with here. So you might be able to make something of it, but you still gotta fight through this kind of second point of Hanamura, which is just notoriously really difficult.
That you do, and we seem to have lost our feed there. You saw me with my lights off because they get hot. JBJ, it looks like Goat Milk dismantling through Hamong as the beat comes out from them, and Solo's end down. It's another win there for Hamong, for Goat Milk, and one last push gonna be there. Oh no, Sunnyside's getting staggered.
Oh yeah, and with 38 seconds on the clock, this is really bad for Hamong. Okay, you're gonna at least be able to get your diva back. You're gonna have one more nice clean kind of 6v6 fight as we move into this last one. But what do you have to work with if you're Hamong? Well, you've got a shatter. If you take a fight long enough, Sunnyside is going to be able to build up to that bomb. But Goat Milk, we've already said it, very decisive with their fights. They've been cleaning these up fairly quickly here. So Sunnyside is going to have to work really hard to try and build up to that bomb.
All right, Hamong, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In terms of their push in, Diva Bomb over top, and Sumshi is gonna get taken down early. The Reinhardt gone, no shields on the board. It's gonna be Transcendence out from JBJ, maybe waiting for a Diva Bomb Grav combo, but they just don't do it there. Fearless throws the Grav in on the other side, but the Brig is on the point enough to keep the percentage from building up as Goat Milk dismantles Hamong. And that's going to be all they get. 51% as it looks like we drop. We've lost our feed again.
You guys get to just imagine what the teams are cooking up in this side swap. You're never going to guess what comps they're going to end up on. But
imagine,
at least,
if you will, a Goats game.
If you will. But I mean, hey, we've kind of mentioned it as the percentage was built, but at least Hamong did get some percentage on that second point. You got at least the one tick there, but it's so hard to kind of take this defense away from Goat Milk. So now Hamong, unfortunately, their defense on King's Row fell apart pretty darn quickly. So gonna have to make some adjustments here as they move over onto the defense on Hanamura.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is 51% on point B might not seem like a lot, but you saw just how hard that push through is, how difficult that fight is going to be. So for Goat Milk, 51% is not at all a guarantee. With Assault, you just have to hope it's enough of a buffer for Hamong, because it allows them to falter in a fight, not lose a fight on point B, but falter for just a moment and still have something there.
Right. The attack here for Goat Milk, all about trying to kind of find an open end. I'm okay. I mean, Ronan is just straight in, taking a lot of resources away from Hamong, trying to split this team so that the rest of Goat Milk can kind of push through this main area.
Sumshigi just gets burst down, had some really good fire strikes there, but just immediately, that's the coordination that I love to see out of Goat Milk, and it's why they've been so successful, is Sumshigi went from full health to dead in what could only be described on a cosmic scale, and now staggering out the Diva, and they're going to burst down the Diva mech as well, and keep staggering out this baby Diva, get ready for it, and then just burst through. Goat Milk taking a lot of damage though. Neptune going to get taken down early, but they've got the early transcendence, the shattered and a shutdown Sumshigi, and now they're on high ground, and this is the falter. This is what they bought themselves with that 50%, but it is all gone now. JBJ going to get taken down on the side of Hamong, Fearless gone down, and now it's the Staggers trying to get anything going, and they just can't. Eevee runs through, cleaves through with the hammer. Goat Milk wins and moves on to round 2 in the playoffs. GG's.
Ooh, staying in this upper bracket, and definitely well deserved here from Goat Milk. Even though Hamon got that kind of first pick onto Neptune, really great job from Goat Milk to kind of just pivot. You say we don't have the Lucio, but we do have a Transcendence to work with here. So great job from Goat Milk to kind of adapt. You mentioned it earlier, K-Wing. Goats is about really, really fast decisions here. And I think that Goat Milk really showing that they have some experience potentially even playing Goats originally, but definitely at least making those split decisions and usually making the correct choice.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that happened there is they lost their Lucio on the way to the point. And I say this as a Lucio lover, I say this as a Lucio main myself for many, many years. The big value of Lucio comes with engaging, comes with that engagement. To a point, there's absolutely value that a Lucio can provide in a team fight. However, they knew they had Hamong on the back foot. They knew they had Hamong off kilter, and so they said, this is our chance. We popped the Transcendence, and you know, any of the healing utility that Lucio can provide is a water bucket to the face compared to a tsunami provided by that Transcendence. So it offset the loss of that Lucio to an extent. And then they knew they had Hamong off kilter, they knew they had that opportunity, and they took full advantage of it. And that's what I like, is because, like you said, normally you would lose your Lucio and you'd be like, oh crap, back. But no, what they did is they said, we've made the engage, we've committed, we should full commit. And kind of that's what GOATs is about, is saying, screw it, we ball. And that's what they did. And they sure are balling all the way to the second round of the playoffs.
Yep, getting to stay in that upper bracket feels great for Goat Milk. Hamong, not out of things just yet. They are going to move down on to that lower bracket, but we do have more Goats to be seen. So we're going to go over to a quick break so we can get our next match set up, but don't go anywhere. We will be having some more 6v6 action for you right here on CGL.
know, you get an insight and you know something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Memories. Memories.
I'm still a shut in.
Yeah.
And welcome back to more round 2 Overwatch. We've got the 2026 GOATs tournament here from CGL. And apologies for how long that took. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here and we're gonna keep on rolling. We've got Citrus Nation versus Goat Milk is what's happening. We're rolling into round 2. Citrus Nation, of course, won their round 1 game as we saw Goat Milk win theirs, and now nothing works. As we reset, get everything loaded back in. Do we have the names? No. Our wonderful producers are going to keep on working. Our wonderful producer Thor is going to keep on working at that. But in the meantime, we're not going to keep this hype gameplay from you any longer. We're going to get back into it. And as you can see on the screen behind us, we've got our first map showing. It's going to be Nepal. And also a point of clarity in that map 4 is not assault. Map 4 is actually escort. So we don't have the opportunity of having draw after draw after draw. As funny as that would be, we don't pay the players by the hour. So just be a lot.
Right,
Anyway,
right.
Nepal
You're already
is the
getting
first
goats.
one.
Like you're already getting goats. You're not gonna get back-to-back assault. All right. I'm sorry, everybody. You get goats. We're doing the best we can here. You get 1 assault map. That's it.
1 assault map, but now going into Nepal for the control map, I'm still expecting that same composition. I think the only place we're going to see that same composition we saw the entire time in our last game. We're still running a 1st to 2, so these maps are still incredibly important, but I think we're going to still keep that Reinhardt. I really don't think there's enough high ground on most sub-maps of Nepal. I don't even think that you could really even see it on Village, which is the one I'm thinking of, maybe the one with the bridge. I don't even know if you could have that there. But either way, I think we're going to be seeing our good and proper goats. I don't think we're going to be seeing any of that floats until we talk about hybrid and map pick for that. But if they don't pick Kings Row, they're traitors. They're class traitors. But either way, as we hop into looking at Citrus Nation, that team that we haven't seen yet, I don't know if we probably won't have a roster graphic for them. We can pull it up. We've got Django Zeb, Painkiller, Luke Mino, Rhino, and Vanua. And definitely you recognize some of those names there. Luke Mino, a prolific support main themselves. And of course, we've seen our Goat Milk team of Eevee, Leo, Ronan, Isis, Sniper, Neptune, Solo Zen in our last game. But this is probably what our composition is going to look like.
Yep, totally agree. Of course, the only options here that the teams have to maybe make some swaps, you can have that Reinhardt go over onto the Winston, then you can have the Zen potentially go over onto the Ana or the Moira, but I am totally in agreement with you, K-Wig. I think that this is what we're going to get from both of these teams, at least for Nepal, and this is going to be a pretty big matchup here because both of these teams are undefeated in the tournament so far, both of them going 5-0 in that round robin yesterday, and then of course we are up here in the winners round 2, so both of these teams getting a win in that first round of the playoff bracket here. So this is going to be it. One of these teams is going to take their first loss in this Winter Goats tournament.
And as we load into those snowy paths of Nepal, looking at those choke points there that we're just about to pass through as those big spots to hold, either there on the low ground or back up at the actual sanctum itself, or the shrine itself, pardon me. It's looking like a complete and exact mirror. Luke Mino on the Lucio, as we got Rhino on the Brig, and Venus on the Zen, and exactly what we had last time out of out of Goat Milk as we get ready for round 2. One of these teams is going to be finished for the day, actually, after this, as the door is open on round 2.
All right, we are, as we mentioned, a little bit of technical difficulties here. So just a reminder, Goat Milk is going to be the blue team here, and then we are going to have Citrus Nation over on that red team. Citrus Nation already making their presence known on this point, so the onus is on to Goat Milk to try and find their way into this.
As Venus getting a lot of early damage in from that long sight line, they were able to park onto already almost 50% up to that Transcendence. And that's a really big ult to get up to quickly, that you want to outpace your the offensive ultimates, your shatters, your bombs, your grabs. And both of these Zens doing incredibly well, and all these supports doing very well to get it, as you see a little bit of slowdown there that happens when just so much is happening. We have a touch of a slowdown as already beats and Transcendences are flying. Django going to get stunned up, Transcendence out from solo Zen as we keep the aggression flowing for Goat Milk. Going to start pushing back, but an important capture of the point coming from Citrus Nation. 12 and 13%, and Rising Rhino going to be the first to fall as the Diva Bomb goes in over the side. Eevee has the shatter, but finally it's going to be Goat Milk taking that point, but a really big play there with that 26% capping early.
Yeah, it's great to have that percentage to work with if you're Citrus Nation, but I really like the kind of staying power that Goat Milk has kind of shown in these fights. That is something that we gotta mention. You know, Goat Milk, the only map that they dropped in that last series was on the Control, where we weren't necessarily seeing the ebb and flow that we really needed to. So it's nice to see that they've kind of stepped up there, really finding their footing in these fights.
Early Transcendence to counteract the shatter. Django was in trouble there for a second, as there goes the grab. No ults to keep them alive. Luke Mino gets snatched away from the action by the charge, and that's going to be now probably also a bit of stagger onto the Diva before she goes off the side of the map, as team kill rings out 40% and climbing for Goat Milk.
Beautiful grab there from Leo. And just for anybody that's watching that's wondering what is going on with these slow-mo movements, that is a design of the code, because there's so much happening in these Goats compositions that they actually slow down the custom code to make sure that we don't have a crash.
Yeah, and even still, you can see a crash as the shatter goes down, lands onto 3. Eevee just landing through with a rally backing her up. That's a big play, and it's going to be a bit of body blocking going on this Diva, and the remake is never very recommended in a stagger position. You're kind of just left to struggle, and now you have about 1 fight left, as they're doing something really smart here and pushing on to the remainder. Ooh, shatter. Going to go wide, not going to land onto anyone. A good play, as the grab on the other side of the wall is going to take Eevee up in the air like a big old pinata, as Luke Mino and the rest of Citrus Nation roll back onto the point. Solo Zen goes down, and Citrus Nation giving themselves just a bit of breathing room.
I love the idea. I love the idea from Goat Milk. You use that aggressive beat, you try and find the Elim, but if you don't find the Elim and then you've just used beat, that is a great response here from Citrus Nation to go in with the punish, use that Graviton Surge to split up Goat Milk, regain point presence here. 99% though, you only need 1 fight here if you're Goat Milk. You've got so many tools to work with, that Grav Bomb, Shatter. We know that these are the big ultimates. You just gotta find the value.
Yeah, you have to watch for this Zen ult. It needs to be used at the perfect time with all those ults on the side of Goat Milk, and absolutely doing incredible as Venus holding on to that ult, using it now after all those ults have gone to the wayside. Shatter's going to draw, not Shatter, it's just going to be the pin there. I saw the stun, I got excited. Luke Mino goes down as that Transcendence expires, as that was as best as Venus could do, the perfect timing, and it still wasn't enough as the overtime wick starts to burn down, and that's just going to be the stagger out from Django, shatter onto Zeb, and Luke Mino and the rest of Citrus Nation can only watch by as the overtime wick burns, and that's going to be 1-0 for Goat Milk.
Still a lot of this kind of back and forth here. Goat Milk not coming out necessarily as clean as maybe they'd like, but finding the first point nonetheless, and that's all that really matters in the end here. We are seeing, Citrus Nation having some really good responses here, but winning these kind of fights outright definitely feels like it's going the side of Goat Milk here, able to kind of find those opening picks after, you get the Transcendence out of the way, you get the beat out of the way, but really nice kind of follow through from the side of Goat Milk, finding those first picks. And I mean, in Goats, once you kind of lose one, it will all fall apart if you don't have something to kind of respond with. So as we move over on to Village here, going to be the same Goats composition, Ryan Zen for both of these teams. We're going to see this fight kind of happening up on the high ground here. You'd love to find this first fight win so you can get that percentage building early.
And that's what did do a lot of help for Citrus Nation. Django and that team really doing well. Solozen was trying to be a bit sneaky there, be off to the side, but got caught out by Painkiller. Really great play there from the Diva with that mobility. Icy Sniper, though, going to get taken down, and now in some trouble is the rest of Citrus Nation. But Rhino and Luke Mino will pick up those limbs, and in the end, Goat Milk will be the ones beaten back.
All right, yeah, Citrus Nation is going to be able to get the first percentage building here, just like they did on Shrine here. So nice to be able to get it going. You got to be able to kind of hold these choke points. It's about reading where is Goat Milk going to path towards. They have an idea that they're not pushing the high ground, but do they know that they're waiting to go through the Mega? I don't know that Citrus Nation's aware.
I don't think they are, but they see it now. It's not a common push through as Painkiller going very aggressive over on the side, trying to defense matrix all of that, but going a bit on their own. Luke Mina with the early beat to respond to Neptune's. After the rally dies out, it's going to be Rhino putting out the rally and pushing forward. Shatter is going to land onto 4. Nothing to say about it. No support else to negate it. And that's going to be a big play for Goat Milk. But Citrus Nation can definitely milk this up just a little more, get up to past 50, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Oh, they're going to drop the self-destruct. Shatter going in. They think they have a chance on this. Are they going to be right here? Django going to get taken down. Luke Mino does find the pick onto Ronin, but it doesn't look to be enough as Painkiller lands one onto Neptune. Rally out from Icy Sniper to try and shut this down. Now past 70%. Definitely worth it in that state. But it looks like a pullback there. Solozen's going to take it down. Hero plays from Citrus Nation, just snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Now one fight away.
I was really questioning that bomb from Painkiller right in the face of the big Reinhardt shield, but making it work. Excellent job from Citrus Nation to kind of cycle in onto this point. Now, last fight territory as the onus is on Goat Milk to try and find their way into this fight, and you don't have anything to work with just yet.
Yeah, and crucially, Painkiller was demeched for a little bit there as Luke Mina is going to go down, was trying to farm up that early remech, as that's going to be Goat Milk taking the point back. Eevee going to get a big fire strike onto Django, and that'll be enough as Eevee going to now charge in and pick off these stragglers. Eevee, though, just really doing well, and that'll be Goat Milk finally reclaiming the point. They were struggling this entire map.
Yeah, really had a hard time kind of finding their way back in here. Citrus Nation just really winning out in these scrappy fights, but now Goat Milk managed to do that without committing any of those ultimates, so now they're going to have so much to work with here. If I am Citrus Nation, I'm looking to just take a dry fight here, try and get some ultimates out of the side of Goat Milk. You want to build up to yours, you only need one more fight win, so you'd really love to kind of have the advantage ult-wise to make that happen.
Early beat, it's going to be Django actually in some trouble as Painkiller going to get demeched, uses the self-destruct for a remech. As now Django gets stunned up, Shatter goes through, but a good evasion as Leo going to use the grab onto the wall. Solozen going to get taken down as both these Zaryas dishing out the damage. The main source of DPS in the Ghost composition is that really high charge Zarya, and that'll just be it. Venus going to pop Transcendence as the percentage ticking up even more now. But Citrus Nation starting to withdraw, waiting for those reinforcements to come in, and there comes Django riding down the hill like a cowboy, has the shatter online, has the opportunity to make a big play, lands 4 on the ground, Solo Zen goes down, Icy Sniper just barely survives with the health from the beat, and Django has gone in too deep. Icy Sniper gets taken down, but the follow-up is there from the rest of the team, and at the ending buzzer, just barely, does Citrus Nation land 1-1, evening up the score in the map.
So close, but those long fights, Citrus Nation really did a great job kind of locking in. I mean, that last kill onto Eevee there, all 6 members of the side of Citrus Nation showing up as kind of assists there in the kill feed. So great job really focusing these targets down. I think that Citrus Nation's been doing a great job kind of following these discords from Venus, and she's been doing a good job kind of finding the main tank, right? If you can take the Reinhardt out of the picture, that really opens up a lot more space for your team to work with here. So deciding sub-map, we're going to be heading over to Sanctum. We'll have to see if these Lucios especially can kind of maybe try and find a little bit of environmental kills where you have these big kind of healing opportunities. If you're able to get kind of just an instant elimination, that can be really huge for your team.
This is really interesting. You have the Lucio and the D.Va going around the side, trying to surprise Citrus Nation. It doesn't work very effectively, as actually Venus is going to get taken out. Actually, it might have worked there, as Django going to get a really good charge kill. Citrus Nation doing good as picks going back and forth. Painkiller on this D.Va, putting the damage into Ronin before having to pull back to the Mega, get that health back, as it'll be Goat Milk taking that first pick.
See, Citrus Nation is still like lurking around here, right? They like to take these kind of scrappy fights here, so they're gonna go ahead, push on to the fight, try and get this swap quickly.
Luke Mino going to be taken down first. Neptune was the one going aggressive. I thought that was the Lucio getting taken down, but Eevee going to hit. The Shatter is going to land 3 on the floor, but with the Transcendence, I think maybe we do have the... Whoa. A lot of environmental kills happening one after the other, as it's now the D.Va on the point, dropping the self-destruct in over top. And great shield by Rhino to keep themselves alive. Take down Ronin before the remake comes through. Wonderful timing. Citrus Nation will take point, but they have to pull back there now. They don't have a lot of people.
Yeah, right, you don't have the reinforcements here. You're looking to try and maybe find your way into a choke point, right? That's this Ghost composition. You want to be able to kind of find these engagements in the choke points. You don't want to take a fight in the wide open space of point here, and we are going to see Citrus Nation do just that, taking out Solo.
That was perfect. That was so beautiful from Painkiller. Seeing the Solo Zen was separated from the pack and collapsing on it. That is textbook GOAT. That is perfect. Shatter goes in and grab eaten. We haven't seen a lot of D.Va eats this, but Leo getting that grab eaten is devastating. But that was wonderful from Painkiller and the rest of Citrus Nation. They saw that moment of weakness that you need to see in any GOATs. Just a one small mistake, and they capitalized it, and they punished it. Perfect execution.
Yeah, and now pretty comfortably in the lead here. You're gonna go ahead and commit these ults first. You force some cooldowns out, but you gotta try and find the kills here if you're Citrus Nation to hold on to this lead.
You have to, as Venus getting that pick onto Leo. It's incredibly scrappy and all around as Django goes down, but it does look like Goat Milk is going to be marching toward the point. The D.Va is going to meet them over on the side. They've tried this gambit before, and I don't think that they're going to be doing much with it, as now they group back up. One last fight for the members of Citrus Nation. Now rushing through, there goes the Transcendence, beat out from Luke Mino to keep Citrus Nation alive that moment. Django almost up to this Shatter as Icy Sniper going to go down. Shatter in, both Shatters out. It's going to be actually 3 on the ground. That might have been a Shatter canceling out a Shatter there in that moment. As the grab out from Leo, it's the bomb over top. But there's just no one there remaining when the bomb falls to the ground, and it will be Citrus Nation coming back from a deficit and taking map 1.
All right, excellent stuff here. Citrus Nation taking the win on control. Unfortunately for Goat Milk, just not seeming to be able to kind of find a win on these control map types, right? So really good stuff from Citrus to start this out on a win in this first of two, set themselves at a match point.
Yeah. So, an incredible win, I think, from both of these teams, and that felt more goats. That felt like the longer fights. My voice is a lot more tired after this map than the first map of round one, which tells me, yeah, these fights were taking longer because I was talking a lot more. And that's what you expect from goats in general, is very long fights, because that was the trademark of goats, was incredibly long, incredible amounts of sustain, because having the rally engage to get armor up, and then, once that rally armor died down, you could bring up the Lucio, you could drop the beat, and then you could bring up the Lucio shields, and you could keep that up for a long time, and then once that had expired, you could transcend if you needed to, and have that, and by that point, you probably have 5 seconds until you probably have rally again, and then you can repeat the cycle. There were professional Overwatch matches, at the highest tier, at your Overwatch League levels, where truly a dozen plus ultimates would go off and no one would be any better for it. You would have a dozen and a half, 24 ultimates or something go off and no picks. People would ult twice in a fight and not get a pick. That is what GOATS is. It is sustain, 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 sustain.
Yeah, and you see it in these two teams, definitely. We're seeing, the slowdown happen in the code. We didn't get to see that in the last series, because it is all about kind of finding this slight second of layering, right? You don't want to stack your beat and your transcendence at the exact same time. You want to have kind of that little second of layering, and it's in those little seconds of layering where it's just visual chaos between a graviton surge and then your transcendence, and then you got a transcendence in response here. So definitely really fun to see these kind of high level teams play, and it's a great throwback to, like you mentioned, these Overwatch League matches where you're sitting there for maybe 2 minutes and nobody's died because you're just cycling so perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think that we're seeing between these two teams, they're getting very close to kind of finding that rhythm that's really needed for GOATs.
Yeah, I remember that Owl match. I think it was on Busan, where there was just it had to be a 2-minute first fight, and just no one died, and everyone was just ulting. And Goat Milk, of course, my goats, because they always pick King's Row. Love them for that. Thank you for doing that. You're my favorites. As Goat Milk are gonna bring us to King's Row, and this reign is exactly, it feels like kind of the narrative we had going into King's Row against in round one.
That's right. And
The
go
question-
back, right? They bounced back crazy against Hmong in that first one. So,
And the question is, can they do it again? Can they run it back from the top and have a heartbreaking loss in control and bring it back in King's Row?
All right, excited to see this. Now, I took a little peek at the winners round one, Citrus Nation playing against Shikigami. Citrus Nation did take the 2-0 here. Very interestingly, the hybrid map that was played was Nembani. So Citrus Nation might not be warmed up on the King's Row. Of course, everybody has all the experience on it here, but maybe they go with the Winston because you played that on Nembani. Maybe they're just baiting us again. Who knows, K-Wing?
I think they're lying. I think they're lying to me. I'm not going to buy into it. But either way, I think that's the thing with King's Row. Maybe they're not warmed up on it, but be honest. If you've played Overwatch for especially competitively, for any length of time, you know Kings Row better than you know basically any place. It's not my home, but I know these halls. I know these streets like the back of my hand. And I think these players do even more than I do because I'm a gold. I'm gold. It's fine. And these guys are better than me. I see Sniper and Django actually going to be the first down. The Reinhardt getting taken out is a lot bigger of a loss. Is going to see Luke Mino go down. But the loss of that big shield is devastating, and you can see Goat Milk going to work. This is what we saw on Kings Row the first time, and it seems like we might be seeing a repeat.
Ooh, they're definitely looking for it here. Now, one tick on the board here for the side of Citrus Nation. So that's a nice kind of start to things. We are going to have this Transcendence ready to go, though, from Solo Zen. And we can see that because you win that first fight, Goat Milk is just going to be ahead in these ultimates. That grab, that bomb, that shatter, all of them coming online much, much quicker than Citrus Nation.
Yeah, and that's going to be important, is those big ults, like you said, that grab, that self-destruct, and that shatter. As much as this is going to go wide, it's a big thing that you have to react to. Beat coming out from both of these Lucios. Rally out from Rhino. It's going to be unanswered for a second as the rally coming out from Neptune. There goes all of the ults. Diva Bomb thrown up into the sky, but it's able to be answered as Goat Milk has thrown a lot of ultimates into the fray, and that's the bad thing about having that ult advantage. If you throw too many in, you might not be ready for the next engage, and that's exactly what happens as they push through. No ults even needed. They just got the advantage of that ult fight with some good support ults.
Yep, that's right. And this is Citrus Nation doing what Citrus Nation did on Nepal, where you take these scrappy fights and you come out on top, and not only do they win it, but they have all their ults from the tanks to work with here, which means that they're going to be able to kind of get back into this cycle faster, which is going to leave the side of Goat Milk kind of fumbling a little bit, right? You need to take a fight here to try and make a longer fight so that you can build up your ultimates, but we're seeing that Citrus Nation, they do really great in these longer fights, so it's so hard to build up to those ults.
Early shatter is going to land Icy Sniper on the floor. 3 on the shatter there. 2 picks coming in out of Goat Milk. Really big. Django going down. Painkiller going to use the Diva Bomb to remech. But really crucial is Goat Milk able to get those picks, able to get a good engage, knock out the Reinhardt, but not going to try and sit at that gate as they push through.
Yeah, getting some space on the cart here, and we do at least have some ults that have been built up for the side of Goat Milk to work with on this defense. The Transcendence and the beat being available for both of these teams, this is going to really come down to the timing of things, right? We want that tiny little bit of layering. You don't want to stack them entirely, but that's going to make all the difference in this next fight, and going to see which team kind of comes out on top and is able to build up to those next ultimates. Kind of always thinking about what's going to come after this.
That's what you have to do. Leo also building up to the grab bomb combo. Definitely on the field here as Neptune's going to be the first to get taken down. Beat out from Luke Mino, and it's Eevee and Neptune bursted down as Citrus Nation keeps going. And as that Transcendence goes, so does Solo Zen, and so does the team kill alarm.
Unfortunately, Neptune wasn't able to get that beat off, so you don't have that kind of little bit of layering, and that forces the Transcendence out, but you've already lost the Lucio. You didn't have the beat to keep you kind of sustained through that, so 4 minutes on the clock here for the side of Citrus Nation. So many ults to work with. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see from an ultimate feed for a GOATS team, is that you've got a bunch of 100s, you got some 24, you know, you're kind of in this cycle area, so good start here for the side of Citrus Nation.
Django throws out the shatter right into the shield as there goes the grab. Ronan has the opportunity to throw the bomb, but won't in the end, as Luke Mino will be the first to fall. This Lucio so important for the GOATS comp. There goes Rhino, and the rest of the attacking team will finally be shut down. Goat Milk will have their stay as, oh, no, wait, Zeb coming back with a shatter in over the top, nothing on the ground. Self-destruct will land onto Zeb. Crucial taking out that Zarya. Talk about how important that is. Resetting the charge, even just for a moment. That downtime is crucial.
Somehow, it's still some card progress being gained here through Citrus Nation, despite not having Zeb in this fight. So that's good, at least for them to push forward. But there's the beat that Neptune was looking for. Now you need to try and find something from it.
Oh, Neptune actually gets the boop off the map onto Rhino. Venus is Neptune getting 2 picks. Final blows there, and Goat Milk are really actually starting to put their foot down here on the defense.
And I like that because that was a pretty quick fight for the side of Goat Milk, and that's exactly what you want to do when you're up against this team like Citrus Nation that is able to kind of have a mainstay in these fights, really finding a lot of comfortability in the Goat style. So you have the Transcendence to work with now if you're Goat Milk, but it's going to be really hard to kind of get a full fight win off of that quickly.
Shatter going in, almost lands onto the Zarya, but she is able to bubble and get behind the shield. Ronin with the bomb, looking for an opportunity and might have one here, chucking it around this corner. Goat Milk having a good mainstay. Gonna be the rally out from Rhino. Bomb over the top, combining with the grab. It's the shield. Django goes down, but just in time to keep that bomb from decimating the team. That was knife's edge there for that Reinhardt, giving their life for the team. A valiant sacrifice, but it just won't be enough as the retreat is called and they pull back.
Right, nice little disengage there. Excellent grab from Zeb, but the beat is there, right? It's all about kind of finding a way just to stay alive a little bit longer in these fights.
That it is, and there goes the Transcendence to knock out. Shatter in to land onto 3, and that might just be the turnaround there. But Icy Sniper gets taken out by the bomb. Painkiller gets 2 picks, and a great stun allows that continuance. We've seen these fights just turn on a dime here.
Excellent job from Citrus Nation, who has walked themselves all the way up to this left side of the spawn here. But you do have this split now. Finding that kill onto Neptune is big, but you gotta find just some presence on the point now.
That you have to. Solo Zen's gonna get taken down. Luke Mino down. And the cart just pushes a little more. These picks by Luke Mino, finding those final blows. Must have heard what I said about Lucio's and said, I have value to provide. And sure they do. As round 1 completes, 22 seconds on the clock. Might not be a lot, but it will guarantee that there is no golden box of victory for Goat Milk here. There's no golden box of force at least a draw here either. Goat Milk is in danger no matter what the result. They have to finish. They don't have to finish with time, but they have to finish.
It's a long way to walk through King's Row, especially up against 3 tanks and 3 supports. It's no small feat that Citrus Nation was able to get all the way to the end of King's Row. We saw some, a little bit of a slow happening on the streets phase, a little bit on that 3rd point. I'm really interested to see how Goat Milk approached this attack here because, of course, we saw them on King's Row in that last match against Hamong, and they pretty much just walked right on into the 1st point. So I think that they're going to have a little bit tougher of a time now here against Citrus Nation that's been doing a really good job of not just kind of cycling these ultimates. I feel like we talk about the ultimates a whole lot in GOATs because, they're the flashy things that end up on your screen so many times in a fight, but it's also about the smaller cycles. It's about cycling these Zarya bubbles. It's about cycling this Reinhardt shield. And I think that we're seeing Citrus Nation do a really good job of that, which is also lending to the fact that they're doing really well in these longer fights because not only are you able to kind of have the ult ready to go, but it's all these small little things that kind of add up and allow you to stay in these fights as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, you're right. Those small things, the macro of GOATs, we talk about it as almost this sort of caveman apes together strong, run into enemy team, ooga booga, I win. But there is so much to talk about in terms of the mechanics of it as these teams run into each other. Leo and Zeb both finding picks. These Zarya's putting out that DPS. Citrus Nation, though, going to be getting a little bit the worse of it as Painkiller looking for an opportunity to recontest on the point, but now getting harassed, and this could be really bad. Even just if Painkiller gets staggered out a little bit more, it's a really split point here. Zeb just going to get taken down and shut down, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. Get that Zarya, spot her out, find her, and shut her down. That's exactly what they need. It'll be a close spawn for the Zarya, but it'll be the point capture pretty close to it as Luke Mino beat on the point, goes through. It's just not everyone there, and Zeb isn't there either, as there goes the grab bomb over the top. Django whips the shield around in record time. What a reaction as a shatter goes in from Eevee, lands onto 3. But is the follow-up there is the question. And the answer is it might not be. Painkiller will get taken down, but just barely, which is really good play by Citrus Nation. Going to lose the point in the end, but they take the time away, and that's what you need in this, is just sneaking this time away, sneaking every little second you can get, as now it pumps through. Luke Mino just going to tap the point a little bit more and be launched into the stratosphere, and hi Luke Mino. Bye Luke Mino.
Yeah,
Lucio.
Right, and that's the thing. At least it's the Lucio, right? But this does mean you don't have a Lucio on the side of Citrus Nation. You have to use this Diva Bomb, and you find value from it. Like, very impressive stuff to kind of react to these situations.
Yeah, Painkiller is just doing that. Has a really good sense for, well, we're down a player, we need to use an ult to subsidize it, and now sitting in a very deadly chokehold with that center well.
Right. This is going to be so hard for the side of Goat Milk to try and push through, but you do at least have a little bit of an opening here where not everybody from the side of Citrus Nation was kind of all grouped up. So now, well, now they're grouped up.
They are very grouped up, but that Transcendence is going to keep them alive against anything that's not like immediate burst damage. It's just so incredibly powerful, as now this Reinhardt in a very tight space. Diva Bomb getting thrown in over the top. It's not going to do much. It's just going to, actually it's going to demech Painkiller, but that's just going to be the run through out of Citrus Nation as the scrap turns in. It's Citrus Nation keeping it going on this defense. 3 minutes now remain on the clock.
I think that was like a 2-second DMAC onto Painkiller. We see the DMAC, and then he's immediately back in the mech, has the Diva Bomb to work with as well. So lots here for the side of Citrus Nation to try and hold, but yeah, you give a little space to throw that bomb in.
Diva Bomb goes a bit high as the, there you go, shatter in over top, gonna land onto Solos, and Luke Mino in trouble, going to get taken down as Django goes and gets some kills. Rhino and Venus go down, and that'll be Goat Milk finally breaking the hold on that archway and getting some progress on the payload.
Yeah, that was a nice job to kind of withstand that that attack there from the side of Citrus Nation. You are going to be up against this Graviton Surge from Zeb. Not a whole lot kind of to combo with. Usually we'd like to see kind of that bomb, maybe a shatter, but you have the rally coming online for Rhino, but taking out Neptune here, that beat, not going to be in this fight for the side of Goat Milk.
Shatter's going to land onto the break in the Reinhardt. Luke Mino's going to go down as Eevee gets that pick. And that'll be Leo and the rest of Goat Milk pushing through. It took them a while to get rolling, but they're finally showing up and showing off as Goat Milk. Pushing through. That'll be 2-0 now. 3 minutes on the clock. They've got an opportunity to do something really good here.
Right? You can finish with a good chunk of time if you're the side of Goat Milk. You're going to be able to get some progress on the card here. And this is Citrus Nation just going for the full regroup, right? You have some ults to work with here. You go for that rally early, build up to that armor so that you can kind of go for a really strong first engage.
Grab going to land onto the Reinhardt bomb. Thrown in the back. It's tight and it lands onto Django. Grab thrown in from Zeb. There is the beat and the transcendence to counteract it. It's going to be Leo landing on 2 picks. Neptune landed another. And even with Icy Sniper not on the field, you're going to keep this fight rolling. A great stagger onto the Baby Diva. You're clicking here.
Yeah, this is looking really dicey here for the side of Citrus Nation now. Yes, we are gonna still have Icy Sniper kind of walking back from the spawn here, but this shatter from Django is gonna have to be absolutely massive. But Eevee has one to respond with, and so often we see these shatter for shatter come out.
Oh, the Bash Shatter doesn't go through from Icy Sniper and Eevee. There goes the Shatter, both Shatters into shields. As Rhino going to be the first to fall. Painkiller, though, does get taken down. Luke Mino, one of the few members remaining on the side of Citrus Nation, looking for a miracle boop, but it's just not going to be there. And 2 minutes 12 compared to 1 minute on the clock as we normalize those times, pushing it up from that 22 seconds up a little bit more. We get 2 minutes 12 to 1 minute. And the difference there is staggering. At the very least, you can say for the 1 minute is that in most games of Overwatch, you'd only barely have your ults after like one fight. This is GOATs. You can have your ults after half a fight. So at the very least, you don't have that ult disadvantage, even with the time disadvantage.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's the beauty of GOATs, right? We can build up those ultimates so quickly that 1 minute is still going to be enough for you to get that kind of full cycle in, but having 2 minutes always going to be just that much better, as we are going to be having Goat Milk kind of start out on the defense here since they have a little bit more time to work with. And I think that this is a really big opportunity for Goat Milk to kind of lock in on this defense. They've shown us that they're really, really strong at these offense, right? They're great at just kind of walking on through, but kind of withstanding an attack and then responding, maybe a little bit trickier here. So there is an opening with this 1 minute time bank for Citrus Nation to find themselves onto the point and to start pushing this payload. But it's all about kind of who is building up to these ultimates first and who is going to get that going first.
And it's important this first fight. Getting into that good rhythm is even more important, especially for this attacking team. And speaking of solos and going to get taken down first, Goat Milk needs something big here, and Eevee and Leo have both found big picks. Solos and going to be running back on the Moira just for the quicker return. But Citrus Nation have been devastated, and they're just not going to have enough. The Rhine barely staying up right now. Django almost got picked off there. They have the opportunity, but there's going to be almost no ults.
I like the disengage here from Citrus Nation. You can't let anybody get staggered here. 10 seconds on the point, and look how much space is being taken. Goat Milk trying to find a pick, but you're getting a little too greedy. Aren't going to recognize it, but hey, somebody's got a touch from Citrus Nation.
Neptune was in the sky looking for something cheeky, but just found Painkiller flying up to meet them. Eevee has the shatter, but so does Django. It's going to be a fight of the shatters, but you have that transcendence on the side of Venus. We'll have to see these Reinhardt v Reinhardt games. Beat goes in, shatter, lands onto Ronin. Eevee going to be the first to fall. Rhino finding that pick onto Icy Sniper. Luke Mino, though, getting an early pick, but that's just going to be all. Diva Bomb thrown in for Painkiller, but that's point capture, and now you have a bit of a blank check. How far can you push it? You've gone further than you expected. How far can you push this?
Yeah, I mean, this is great for them to get all this space. Citrus Nation, everybody pushing up the save for Painkiller, who is now on cart duty. Overtime means no, you cannot have anybody step off of this payload if you're Citrus Nation. It's a long way back here for the side of Goat Milk, but you have so many tools to work with here. All those tank ults coming online. This is where we can see that a little bit of disengage actually happening from the side of Citrus Nation, because Goats, you need to be taking these fights as a team. So this is all about making sure nobody gets caught out on their own.
That you do. There goes the engage. A big grab from Leo. Luke Mino pushing through. There goes the bomb into the back. Shatter over top, and a great stun to stop the shatter from Rhino, but it's not going to stop the picks coming through. Great eat out of Ronin, and that'll be the stop to it. 46.83 meters. But it has to be said, when you're thinking of the attack that Goat Milk had, it was one that was characterized by burning through the latter half of the map. They struggled deeply with that first half, with breaking the hold on point A and breaking the hold on the archway. If we see a repeat, we might just see Goat Milk fall here. This is not guaranteed by any means. It is, sure, 2 fights, 2 maybe 3 fights for Citrus Nation, but Goat Milk at this point is not out of the woods yet by a mile.
Right? I am fighting for their lives right now. This is a first to 2. If Goat Milk don't pick up this win on Kings, they are going to be sent down to that lower bracket, take their first match loss in this Goats Winter Tournament. So, I mean, if you're Citrus Nation, you would love to be the ones that sent them down there. You got 2 minutes to stand on this first point here, but we will have to see what can be done on the attack here for the side of Goat Milk. And we said the same, I mean, both these teams are playing Goats, so it's always going to be the same idea, right? You need to find your way into this rhythm, get the cycles going. We do see a little bit of kind of this little offshoot that we've been seeing a little bit from Goat Milk. We saw it a little bit on Nepal, didn't necessarily work, but now you've got some high ground to work with, so trying to get a little bit of an angle can be beneficial.
It can be, but Solazen's just gonna get collapsed on by Zeb and that Lucio. I'm remembering the days of SK and Frogger type beat as Zeb going to get taken down, and Eevee and the rest of Goat Milk are very determined to make this a 3-mapper on us, as now Venus in some trouble. Solazen, though, going to get taken down. It's very important that they close out this point here as the beat goes down. Luke Mino just going to close this case on the rest of Goat Milk. Neptune's going to beat with 2 people down. Neptune drops the beat, and that's just going to be something you want back. Oh, that's brutal to see. Beats one of your biggest ultimates and with no other supports. Ugh.
Oh, it's gonna hurt. And that's the thing. That's the making these small, a mistake like using an ult in a missed time. It gets punished really, really heavily in Goats, where you're so dependent on these cycles. And now there's a grab out, and there's just no response.
There can't be bomb over the top. Great boop gets Django. That's the opportunity they need. Icy Sniper, though, in some trouble, gets taken down by Painkiller. The shatter goes through onto 2. Eevee, though, goes down, trades back and forth, but trades in this situation are going to favor the offense as the bubbles go in. Great play by Leo to keep the Zen, and now a really brutal situation where I don't know if they have close spawns. No, they do have some close spawns in there, but it looks like there's Zenyatta's on the longer run. 1 fight left at the archway, and in overtime, the 1 fight to decide this.
Beat for beat, a grab coming online for Zeb could be the difference here. Now the team has to think, do you go for the aggressive beat? Do you want to try and get the second one? Well, if you're Citrus Nation, it's that aggressive beat.
And that's going to get the pick onto Solazen. Neptune with the response can't keep them alive. Icy Sniper goes down without using Rally. Icy Sniper goes down without using Rally. It's not there on the point. There's just no more ults left on the point. Nothing left. Rhino and Django and Painkiller are going to be the last picks in. GG's ring out. And that's Citrus Nation preventing the comeback from Goat Milk and moving on. They've booked their ticket to Sunday's affairs.
Very, very impressive stuff here from Citrus Nation. We saw some really, really great plays from the side of Goat Milk, but I think that it's just, when it comes to Goat's composition, the team that is just a little bit more kind of keeping the same style, trying to stay consistent through it, that's what's going to give you the edge. And Citrus Nation had consistency through both the first and the second map. So even though Goat Milk looking a little bit maybe more comfortable once they got onto King's Row, Citrus Nation able to take that win, give Goat Milk that first loss.
Yeah, and that first loss is really big when you're talking about a double elimination bracket, getting knocked down into the lower bracket and having to continue on into today. Citrus Nation have bought themselves into the upper bracket finals. And that's going to be tomorrow. They're done for the day. They took Shikigami, they took Goat Milk. Now they are just looking for hello. They're playing for they're done. They're playing for Sunday now. Goat Milk both have one more game today, and it's a game for their tournament lives.
Yeah, it's so rough, right? Get set down to that lower bracket. Doesn't matter how many you win up to a point. As soon as you lose that one in a double elim, your life is on the line here. So good news is, everyone, we do have one more match here for you between Gaywing and I. We are going to throw it to a quick break, get that all sorted out, but we're going to be heading down to that lower bracket after this. So stick around. We have more goats to go.
insight and you know something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Break.